Welcome to the all-new Dallas Music Network. I am your host, Emmeline, and I'm so excited to bring you brand new music tonight. See, Dallas Music Network is an organization that strives to help artists thrive, connect, and pursue their passion in a way that enriches the lives of others. We think that the best way for us to do that is by bringing artists directly to you. And so, tonight, I'm super excited to introduce you to the perseverant R&B artist, Karri. Karri grew up singing in churches, and she performed in multiple musicals with the Academy of Black Arts and Letters. But tonight, she's bringing her special positive soul music right here to the Dallas Music Network stage. Fans and friends, Karri Music.
What's going on, Dallas, Texas? My name is Karri. I go by Karri Music. We're going to have a great time tonight. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be on the Dallas Music Network. So vibe out for me. We're going to have a good time. Yeah. Here we go. From the top right here. Look here, before you start, I'ma need you going hard, doing more than play your part, baby. If we from the same hood, oh, I'm checking for you. Better know what you're doing, checking for me. I need a boss, some good love, something like a soldier, tending to my needs, if you know what I mean. If you from the same hood, oh, I'm checking for you. Better know what you're doing, checking for me. I need a boss, some good love, something like a soldier, tending to my needs, if you know what I mean. Say my name when no one is around. That's just what you do. You tell me when the seasons change, 'cause come fucking with you is always something new. Yeah, then you tell me I'm the one, but then I turn around, you got another boo. Yeah, I swear I think it's just a game. I'm not your little piece, you need to get a clue. All my ladies say no, 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 no. Say don't play no games with me. That ain't how it's gonna be. I need what I need. I need what I need. If we from the same hood, oh, I'm checking for you. Better know what you're doing, checking for me. I need a boss, some good love, something like a soldier, tending to my needs, if you know what I mean. If you from the same hood, oh, I'm checking for you. Better know what you're doing, checking for me. I need a boss and some good love, something like a soldier, tending to my needs, right here. At first we started our cool. We did some things I never thought that I could do. And now you're putting me through things that I've been through. The signs were there, truly screaming, shouted when I come to think about it. So then you blowing up my phone. It's funny how you think that we could get along. Truth is, I'm the place you trying to call home. But babe, when you arrive, I'ma already be gone. All my ladies say no, 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 no. Say don't play no games with me. That ain't how it's gonna be. I need what I need. I need what I need. If we from the same hood, oh, I'm checking for you. Better know what you're doing, checking for me. I need a boss, some good love, something like a soldier, tending to my needs, if you know what I mean. If we from the same hood, oh, I'm checking for you. Better know what you're doing, checking for me. I need a boss, some good love, something like a soldier, tending to my needs. One more time, here we go. You from the same hood, oh, I'm checking for you. Better know what you're doing, checking for me. I need a boss, good love, something like a soldier, tending to my needs, if you know what I mean. If we from the same hood, oh, I'm checking for you. Better know what you're doing, checking for me. Boss, some good love, something like a soldier, tending to my needs, if you know what I mean. If you're from the same hood, oh, I'm checking for you. Better know, checking for me. I need a boss, good love, something like a soldier, to my needs, if you know what I mean. From the same hood, checking for you. Better know, checking for me. Boss, some good love, something like a soldier, tending to my needs, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Karri, welcome to Dallas Music Network. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for coming out to talk to us today.
For sure. Oh, yeah. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting.
We have been waiting a while for
We
this.
have.
Thanks for coming on the show, too, and for sharing your gifts. We talked a little bit about this, but one of the coolest things about you as an artist is the way you step into the authenticity of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of been a journey for you, because it wasn't your natural inclination when you were little.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the first time we met, I was like, how do you know all this information? How do you know all of this? But yeah, you're absolutely right. I was super, super shy. I think as we were discussing earlier, super shy. Very just like, oh, leave me alone. But then again, when it comes to my social life, I'm just like, like, here's a joke, you know? But when it came to being, as we discussed earlier, being naked, you know, it's just like, wow, like, mentally, emotionally, you know, physically, yeah. You know, with clothes on though, but it's like people are judging you, you know, you don't know what type of crowd you're in front of. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster, but it's been really, really dope.
You sort of went on this journey, like you said, of being really socially outgoing,
Mm-hmm.
but with your art, being a little bit scared of being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Was there like a moment for you where you thought to yourself, okay, this is what I need to be doing. I need to step into who I am, and I need to not be afraid to bear it all on stage.
You know,
in my music.
You know, it's crazy. I think when I was in middle school, my great grandma died on my dad's side, and I was like, man, she's really gone. But you know, like when you're little, you don't really process death because you're just like, I mean, what does that really mean? So my dad asked me to sing for her funeral, and at first I was like, I think I didn't want to because it was like, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I don't want to do that. But then when I did it, I saw that it was a great reaction. So I think when I saw that reaction, I said, wow, that's cool, and this makes me feel really good. And then from then, I was just like, wow, this is really dope. And then I got to hear me, you know, so from hearing me, then seeing the reaction, and then knowing who I did it for, I think that's when I was like, wow, like this purpose is a little bit more bigger than me when it even comes to singing, when it comes to doing anything. And then at that time, I was singing in church, so it's like when it comes to ministry, you know, so it's just like ministry can be not in church too. Because again, you know, going to any type of other music, how we were talking earlier, you know, it's like, wow, like you really said all of that, you know, and you simplistically said what I was feeling. So in a way, that's ministry too, you know? So yeah, I think when she passed, unfortunately, when I really realized like, this feels really, really good.
I like this song. It's crazy how we love someone or love something, then you gotta let it go cause you weren't sinking. Have you ever had to continue to prove yourself to someone who's to be heard by everyone? Makes it hard today not to stray away. We all protect ourselves in many different ways, but be quick to point the finger in the other's face, but never consider if it's the other way. Generation so confused on what it wants. Got a new wave each day pleasing other people for what? You're only popular if you wear the stuff. Now let down when you say you're not good enough. Be okay, it's life. Be yourself, that's right. Interaction is better than attraction. Don't say you're so for temporary. I will be here. I'll be here, my dear. I'll be here. And if you see fear, I'll be no fear. Lives here. Yeah. God gives us choices, even if you make the wrong ones. Sometimes we'll all fall down and we'll hit the ground, but the bumps and bruises, it'll make us all better. It'll get ourselves together, yeah. Always temporary satisfaction. I'll be here. I'll be here. Oh, and if you see fear, I'll be here. No fear. And lives here. Say I will be here. Yeah, I'll be no fear. Lives here. And if you see fear, I'll be here. No fear. It lives here. And I will be here. Oh, I'll be here. And if you see fear, I'll be here. No fear. It lives here. And I will be here. Yeah, I'll be here. No fear. It lives here. And if you see fear, I'll be here. No fear. Lives here. Yeah. Y'all better play, man. Yeah.
I don't think that you really realize what you're feeling until you hear it back. You know, like as being an artist, like you're recording it, making a draft, and you're like, okay, yeah. When you hear it all come together, you're like, man, this sounds really dope. And man, I really wrote that song. Or like, man, I really did that, you know? And then you're happy about it, but then you kind of come back down like, who made me feel like that? And then you reflect over all of that. And you're just like, man, like I can really write about this life stuff and like create this dream of mine into a reality. So I think that's where I am now. I'm like, wow, like I may not be, you know, I guess you may not be where you want to be, but I feel like for me at this age now, I'm more of, as long as I'm happy doing it, you know, I don't really care where I am. As long as I'm in a good headspace and my vibe is right, my energy's right, and I'm happy with what I'm doing, I'm cool with it, you know? So it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
It's been a journey, but it sounds like it's led you to a really good place.
Yeah. Now, I will say, because I think with the pandemic starting, you know, we got to sit in our feelings, you get to sit with how you're feeling, and you just sit with all of this other stuff. But yeah, now I will say I'm in a really good place. I am. Every day, I may have days where I'm like, man, like my vibe is off. I want to just punch and pull grass out the ground, you know, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm happy though. I can't really complain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you talk about processing during the pandemic and how we had to sit in our feelings. Because I think that was, especially for those of us that are artists who are busy,
Yeah.
that was a moment where we all had to pause
Yeah.
and like really look at ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And there's good in that.
Yeah.
There's bad in that too.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff that you suppress and you're like, I ain't never gonna think about that again. But it's like, what else do I do? You know, I'm here now. Like, might as well cry about it, you know, and go to sleep and eat and gain some weight, you know, and get a pizza and then eat a Twinkie afterwards. So it's like you process in different ways, you know, but at the same time, yeah, it's good and bad, but mostly good. Because a lot of stuff I feel like that I did not realize that I suppressed, I was like, wow, maybe I need to work through that to get to where I am now. You know, so now when stuff happens, I'm not just quick to just like blow up or have a short fuse on stuff. It's like, okay, let me analyze. You're pissed off because of this, but low key, your trauma, or low key, you know, that you're mad about this, or you're kind of reflecting back to that. So relax, chill. And then I do know where my joy comes from, and it's music. So it's like, let me just listen to a song. And literally, I'll be okay. I guess I'm a millennial, I think, but I don't know. I think I am. But I think our generation, in a way, we've made vulnerability not be a thing. So it's like dealing with people that are like, oh, I don't care, and that's like a trend. You know, I think unconsciously we're all like, well, cool, I don't care either. But deep down, I'm like, I really do care. You know, so we learn to mask this and put more weight on us. So we wake up with this weight, wake up with this anxiety, wake up with this depression of, oh, but I'm good though. And it's like, but you're really not though. You know, so it's like, I'm trying to break that from me. personally, and the people that I'm around. That's why I'm very like, well, talk to me. How do you feel? What's going on? You know, because it is power in your vulnerability. You can talk about it and be okay. You can talk about it and boom, be a millionaire. You can talk about it and then boom, your business takes off because you're so unsure about this social media and you're looking at everybody else do their own thing and you're just like, but what's for me? It's cool, that's fine. Let's start there. You know, so it's so much power in being sensitive.
It sounds as though like your experience in psychology has really kind of informed the way you approach your music.
Yes.
Because for you, it's not just like, oh, I like this, so I'm going to do it, but it's also a process of healing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I will say that. My mom always said, she was like, you know, writing is like painting. You know, so when you write, think of that you have the brush and you're painting a picture for somebody. So when I do think of, okay, so what do I want to talk about? And how do I want to portray this picture for someone else? You know, because sometimes my music isn't only for me. It may be, like some tracks are just for me, but majority of the stuff is like, but how can you take what I'm saying or what you went through, or even if it's something similar?
Carrie, thank you so much for sharing part of yourself.
Well, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me as well.
Oh, of course, this has been a blast, and it doesn't have to end, because right now our audience is going to hear even more of your music.
And they are. Stay tuned.
Hey. Again, my name is Karri. Thank you so much to the Music Dallas Network for having me. We gon' groove and we gon' vibe. Last song, here we go. I hope you had a good time so far, cause I did. Here we go. Hey. Your love is just like honeycomb. It sticks to my soul. It's something about how you look at me. It makes me lose control. The tenderness you give makes everything okay. You do the things I like. It's such a perfect sight. I'm glad I caught a flight on this ride. Yeah. With you, things move so quickly. I can't keep up. Come teach me. Yeah. Move. I like the way you move. Yeah, when I get next to you, can turn around my mood. Yeah, how do you do the things you do? Yeah, I like the way. It's so very hard to figure out. I connect physically. I know you don't belong to anyone, but what about me? The tenderness you give takes all my pain away. I'm ready to ignite, such a perfect sight. I'm glad I caught a flight on this ride. Ooh, with you things move so quickly. I can't keep up, come teach me. Yeah. I like the way you move. I like the way you move. Hey. When I get next to you, can turn around my mood. Yeah, can turn around my mood. Yeah, how do you do the things to do? Yeah, I like the way you move. Hey, when I get next to you, can turn around my mood. How do you do? Here the next part. Sing, I like it, I love it, I really, really like it. I like it, I love it, I really, really like it. I like it, I love it, I really, really like it. I like it, love it, yeah, yeah. I
you talk about sitting in your feelings, about processing feelings, about creating a safe space, and you really did that over the course of the pandemic and came out with a record. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I did. So the recent record that's out is called MIA. It's called Missing in Effect, actually. It's not called Missing in Action, because I feel like I was missing, but I was still doing stuff when I actually brought myself to do it. So people are like, where's your new music? Where's this, where's that? But I was sitting on so much music, I was just like, I don't want to put that out, or I don't feel like doing this. But I was really grateful that I had a team. When I was in Houston, they were always like, what are you doing today? You know, and it got on my nerves a little bit, because I was like, I want to be by myself. I want to be in my feelings. I don't feel good today, you know, but doing that made me be like, okay, well, if you are in your feelings, go do something about it. So I think eventually I was like, well, let me go put some music out. So with collaborating with them, even if he'll send me a beat, they'll be like, hey, listen to this, you know, and I'm like, I don't want to create nothing. But then I'll get out of that and be like, but you should. And then I knew what I wanted to do. But going through like that course of like mild depression, and it's like, you know, I was working at Walmart. I didn't want to do that, because it's like, I'm risking my life here. And then you're hearing people like, I don't care if I get COVID. And it's like, well, I do. You know, so going through that, and then I kind of really couldn't come home, because my mom was like, well, you know, just stay down there. Then getting tested for it. Then it's like, I heard that we're asymptomatic. It was just so much going on. And I thought I was a little bit stronger than that. But I think unconsciously, when you're so used to having so much weight on you, when extra weight comes on, you're just like, I'm used to it. You just get stronger. But I think at that course of my life, I was like, and then I didn't know if I wanted to go through school. So it was like new weight to me. So it was like, although I'm carrying weight every day, this is something completely different. So I said, well, I want to create an album. And I want to create an album that's me, that's fun, that's different. I don't want this to be like la-di-da-di-da. No, this is about my feelings, you know. And then I guess too, coming from a world of gospel music, because my mom is a gospel singer, they look at me like, oh, you're gonna do the same thing? And I'm like, absolutely not. So coming from that, I was just like, so what can I say? What can I say? And I say, you know what? Bump all that. So I'm going through all these emotions, but as I'm going through that, I'm writing about it. So then I looked up, I'm like, oh, I got 10 songs to do, you know? So from that, I was like, well, maybe this can be the course of my whole boom, boom, bam. So created the album. And I have certain tracks on there that I did write when I was maybe feeling certain things, or I have a track on there when I actually started writing again. And it was the first track, well, it's the second track, and it's called Anxiety. And I remember writing it, and it was rainy that day. And I was just like, I want to do something, but I don't know what to do. And I remember talking on the phone with my friends, and she was like, well, just write to something, like just create. And I'm very vocally heavy, so I'm like, well, I'll just create the music myself. So I created it, and I sat on it. And I was like, what would you want to hear when you have anxiety? Because in the course of 2020, that's when I experienced anxiety. I've never went through it before. And it just came out of nowhere. I couldn't sleep. I had like, you know, like when you're super nervous, like you get really high. Like it was just stuff that I couldn't explain. So it's like on top of me can't explain how I feel, now I can explain physically what I'm going through. I'm like, how can I let this out? So I guess from talking to other artists, they helped me kind of like cope through like, well, just write about it, you know? And it sounds so simple, but then when I really processed it, I said, guess that makes a lot of sense. So I started writing about it, and then boom, I put those songs together, and I said, wow, this feels really good, because then after I released it, I felt like a release. It was like, you created this whole project in the midst of this, you made a big decision of, you know, taking a break from school, and it was just like a whole shift. And then I moved back home in November from PV, so it was just like a whole shift, but it was a good shift, you know. So again, like I said, I'm still kind of processing certain things, but I think really releasing that album was like, wow, I did something again, you know. So from the EP, it's like, wow, you released an album and you did like more than like 5 songs, like you really out here doing it, girl. So I think on top of that brought me more joy. So I was like, wow, I'm connecting back to that joy that was my outlet that I didn't think was going to be the outlet when I was going through everything I was going through. And people still don't know what I went through. It's totally fine though, but.
Yeah, but art becomes a direct channel to your subconscious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it sounds like you opened that up and allowed yourself to have a conversation about what you were experiencing, how it was different, where you were going, and not knowing where you were going. Like that's the hard thing, right? Is there was so much uncertainty last year.
So much. Like I didn't know if I was gonna catch COVID or not. Like, and then I'm thinking about like my grandparents, you know, thinking about my mom, you know, thinking about my brother, you know, I'm like, so many people that are close to me that I'm like, y'all gonna be fine, but then you realize like, no, they're probably not. You know, so they come into close contact with that. So here you are more anxious, and you're like, oh my God, I hope you don't die. Because everybody was just dropping like flies. It's just like, that's a lot. And then I'm not home, you know, then I'm by myself in the country. So it was just like, this is a lot. But other than that, you know, it's still a blessing that I went through that because I realized a lot about myself. Like I realized how strong I actually am. Because I'm actually a really sensitive person, but I come off like, whatever, you know, but I'm really sensitive and I'm glad that I tapped into that because I'm actually okay with that now. Like I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm not that sensitive, but it's okay. It's really okay.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Dallas Music Network featuring the immensely talented Karri Music. We also want to thank our amazing house band. We had Rachel on guitar, we had RJ on keys, we had Troy on drums, and Ant on bass. Keep it tuned right here to Dallas Music Network, where we will be bringing you new artists constantly. We thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, and we can't wait to see you again very soon. Good night.
The Dallas Music Network is made possible in part by a generous contribution from the Timothy R. Wallace Charitable Giving Fund.
Mm-hmm.